Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name's Andy, Corporate Commander TFW, and I'm joined this week by the man who has never been in a Terminator movie and who's never been Batman. It's Mikey G. Wolfie 3. Hello, Mikey.
That's what you think.
Oh, well, that is true. I don't have any proof that you haven't been in a Terminator movie.
Did you see the most recent one?
Dark Fate, no.
Did you see the stuff going on in the background?
Well, I haven't seen the movie, so no.
Exactly.
Definitely not.
So you are, and did you see the Robert Pattinson Batman film?
The which one?
The one that's not that done yet?
No, I haven't seen that one somehow.
Somehow, I feel like we're making a lot of assumptions here.
Well, making assumptions makes an ass out of you and me, as they say. I heard that
What?
years ago. Because it's ass, you, me.
Yeah.
It's doesn't matter.
Assumption makes an ass out of you and me.
Yeah.
Assumption makes an ass out of you and me. Where do me come into it?
I don't know.
I want to spend some time with this, Andy.
I heard that from a show. I heard that from a show
dive.
years ago, but I can't remember what it was. As usual. Anyway, Mikey. Oddly enough, I did hear that this might be the best Terminator 3rd movie that has came out.
Isn't this like the fifth Terminator? Terminator? Oh yes, the lobster version.
Yes.
I'm the Terminator. You will boil. This is like the third continuity, isn't it?
Yeah. There was Terminator 3, which is its own continuity. Because then the next, well, no, maybe because Salvation was the next one, which didn't have anything, which was its own unique thing.
No,
then there was
Salvation
Genesis.
did follow on from the other two. Because everyone
No,
followed
because
on
it was a
from 1 and
prequel.
2.
It was a prequel, though.
No, it wasn't.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it was. No, it was. It took
It was
place
set
in the
future. Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't the prequel.
Was it
It
not?
can't be a prequel. It was in the future.
I thought it was a prequel because it was. No, I'm sure
Like
it was.
it showed the creation of the T800s, but that
Yeah.
but it still doesn't count as a prequel because
No?
it's in the future.
Just confusing.
Because the Terminator movies take place in the present, for the most part.
But it could be a prequel because then they set up the whole T800 going back into the past, though, don't they?
No.
No?
Shut up. It's the future, Andy. It can't be a prequel if it's
Okay.
in front of all the movies that happened.
Okay, you're being weird about this. Okay, that's fine. I wondered if you were being serious because my head was starting to hurt. Going, hang on, because that was a joke. This whole thing was a joke on the Red Letter Media talk about it as they're going through the movies, talking about it and how the continuity works, and we just relived that, and not on purpose either. Oh, and Genesis was blonde. But this film is not good, but it's better than the other ones, apparently.
A rousing recommendation.
A rousing, mediocre movie, apparently.
It's not good, but it's not as bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's how we would describe a lot of the Transformer movies, one could argue.
Oh no, I would call them just bad. Just different levels of bad.
Yeah, Bumblebee, that was alright.
Yeah, but that's not a Transformers movie. That's a movie. When we talk Transformers movies, Andy, those are a different beast.
Yes, they are in their own unique category, I suppose.
Yes.
I'll give you that. But we're here today, Mikey, to talk about Transformers news. Not all of it this week. So luckily we can cover the stuff that we weren't able to last week, which was just, our non-off-topic stuff. So, anyway, Transformers related, crappy news. We're kicking it off with officially licensed G1 bag clips. Clips for your bag. They've been spotted at US retail. So if you're in the market for some nice bag clips, as the story proclaims, don't know why they're bag clips. They look like key rings.
They clip onto they're intended to go onto like the zip for a backpack.
Yeah, it's just a key ring, but it's not the metal thing. It's the easier kind of idea behind it. And hey, Mikey, G1, and you'll never guess it. Actually, there is one thing. You'll never guess who it is apart from one who they've just switched out. So it's Optimus Prime, unsurprising. Megatron, not surprising. Bumblebee, not surprising. And Soundwave, who's the one that could have been switched with Starscream, potentially.
Potentially. I mean, maybe calling it not surprising or surprising in Soundwave's case is an exaggeration.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a massive shock.
Because Soundwave is technically more recognizable to the average person than Starscream.
True, but Starscream does get used. I wonder what the percentages of like Starscream versus Soundwave used in the like this 4-character spread when they're put onto things.
Don't know.
Because I feel it's usually Starscream that's shoved on there. I mean,
I know that Soundwave is generally considered the most recognizable person who's not Optimus Prime.
Yeah, I mean, he's the one that turns into the cassette player, which everybody remembers, and then you feel bad for Paul Blaster. Granted, he was a boombox, but, Paul Blaster. His unsuccessful cousin, Blaster.
Or Billy.
Oh, Billy. Poor Billy.
Billy.
He was never New Blaster, was he? They never called him that.
No, I think he was just... Because
Twincast, that's his other name. I think that's right.
In like the Stardub, Soundwave just became like Soundwave.
No, he became New Soundwave.
New Soundwave, yeah.
New Soundwave.
So what was Twincast's name? I'm curious.
Billy.
Well, no, Billy was Blaster, but what was? Did he get a new name?
No, he got called Billy. I'm pretty sure it was just Billy.
I remember when the Stardubs were on TV over here when they were trying to start an anime channel and everyone like freaked out.
Yeah, it was Sky One, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They had no anime on there.
Yeah. Billy was just Blaster. Twincast was Blaster.
Oh, man. Double Grimlocks, too. Never forget that.
Riding with Grimlock. Jack was Sapo. Six
name.
Night and Great Shot were both Six Shot. But then the fiction came along and said, ha ha ha, one of them actually was Six Shot. Browning was BM.
Jan it's in the store.
I don't know. Jan Minakaze, or Minakaze Jan from Victory, was Mekon.
Mekon.
That Meton. Dash Tacker was Batch Taste. Dash Tacker was Batch Taster. Holly was Fix It. Oh yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
No, wait, Fix It was the rescue guy.
That's
Holly
fine.
would have been Stakeout. Detsaurus was Det Sanras.
Almost. That's almost right.
Gran Galvatron was Unicron.
Oh, that's right. When he was fat, wasn't it? When it showed him that one shot.
And Athena was Sydnea. As in Sydney with an A.
Oh, obviously.
Also, this is where the role of Ninja Consultant comes from.
Yeah.
Six Shot. For anyone who didn't know that.
Yeah. And it never left. Never left. Mikey, what do you think about these key rings? Or bag clips, as they're known?
They're fine.
They look pretty cheap and nasty for the most part. If I was a kid, obviously I'd be fairly psyched. Well, not psyched, but I'd be fairly pleased to like smash them against each other. It might be a fun bath time toy if you can remove the metal part from them and how floatable they are. That might be fun for your kid, I suppose.
Also,
but they've got no gramba. What's that?
Maybe they could swallow them and then you wouldn't have to worry about your kid.
I mean that's a potential. That is a thing.
Fortress Maximus's battleship was called Spaceship Bruce.
Why?
I don't know. Rodimus was called Rodimus.
Oh no.
Blur was Wally.
I remember that one. I remember that one for sure.
Why was it Spaceship Bruce?
You know, Brucey boy.
These guys do not get near enough credit for the efforts they took for us.
They put in efforts, that's for sure. But Mikey!
Oh, they also did Godzilla.
Which one?
A lot of the Heisei stuff.
Oh, okay. That
God.
probably explains a lot. Mikey, do you want to take us on to the next bit of Transformers transforming news?
Yeah, Toy World have revealed a new repaint and retool of their Transmetal Megatron mold. This is, of course, the Legend Scale Megatron. As a big roller skating T-Rex. Well, now it's TWBS01GT Steel Lock. That's a name. Which is this character redone into Grimlock. So in Dino mode, doesn't look like there's any changes. It's just repainted into a rusted version of Grimlock's colors. So, yeah. So he's got a lot of like paint flecks and stuff like that. And in robot mode, he has a new head sculpt with the wrong eyes.
What do you mean?
They're blue.
What's wrong with blue?
It should be red.
Actually, where do the blue ones come from? Is that cartoon or is that comic or is it vice versa? Okay.
Cartoon. And a sword which is based off of the classic Grimlock sword. So maybe I shouldn't be, just because of how repaints were done back in the day. But it was always a little surprising to me that Transmetal Megatron was never done into Grimlock.
Yeah.
So this makes a lot of sense. I think the robot mode turned out real nice. I think the T-Rex mode looks good, but I don't think the rust works as well in T-Rex mode.
Why is that?
I think it's just the layout of it. I think it complements the robot mode, and the robot mode's broken up by the gold.
Right.
Whereas the T-Rex is just all grey with a couple of gold highlights here and there, so I think the rust looks more like they just sort of dappled on paint that they were running out of or something.
Okay.
But, you know, it's a good, from what I see and previously, it looks like a good mold, and I think this is a clever little repaint. And yeah, I think it works for him. I think it works for the character. Especially since you can have like the backpack jet thrusters. They kind of work like Grimlock's wings.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So yeah. What do you think of him, Andy?
I think my issue with it is I don't know whether it's the rust effect that they've gone for, but there's something about it which makes him look really desaturated.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know if that's the photo or like an effective put on top of the photo. Or
I think
what?
it's the coloring. I think it's the paint job.
Yeah, like his golds. His gold is probably his brightest color. The red's really flat. It's more of a it almost looks like in some of the pictures like a purpley kind of maroon. Which is, you know, I would want a nice bright poppy red for Grimlock, and then his grey rusted look is a nice idea, but it looks kind of dull, and I guess that's the point. But I want the rest of him to at least be bright and pop. Like some high contrast, like even I think because the thigh parts, which are black, are not matte. They're reflecting light, so again, it's kind of brightening up even those darker areas. So I mean, it doesn't look terrible. It's just these little things that make him look. I don't want to say boring, but to my eyes, a little bit plain. But I mean, if you've got toys like the Toy World World War II things, this is kind of the same colors as them, so he'd probably fit in well with them.
Although he would be tiny.
Would he?
He's Legend Scale.
Oh yeah, of
Deluxe
course.
and Voyager.
That's right. Yeah, so that's a fair point.
Bumblebee fighting off a teeny tiny T-Rex.
It could happen. It could happen because if I remember in Beast Wars, they were all tiny.
Yeah, they're not much bigger than us.
Yeah, which is weird.
Well, yeah. Well, it explains why you had a giant scorpion and a T-Rex in the same scale.
Sure. No, that's about it. Also, did you see? I didn't put it in. We didn't have a news story for it, but I did see this pop up on either Facebook or Twitter. They showed off more images of the Black Arachnia.
No, I didn't.
They showed a video where it seems like she has pliable, rubbery boobs.
Okay.
The reason I wanted to bring it up was because I thought to myself, okay, I don't really know why that was a thing that you really needed to add to the toy, because I don't think it adds anything, and to me it adds a potential weak point for the future.
Yeah. Also, I've never really thought of Black Arachnia being pliable, for want of a better term.
I mean, I don't know how pliable these robo boobs are, but it reminded me very much of the Ryoko Reveltech figure.
Yeah, when you said it, that was my first. Excuse me, that was my first thought.
Yeah, it was the same kind of motion in the video of the boob rubbing as well that I remembered from other.
Why did
Reveltech?
They didn't just sit there rubbing the boobs, did they?
I mean, I specifically remember that part where they because they wanted to show you that they were, movable. But it's legend scale as well, so I don't really understand. Again,
what, the masterpiece? No, she's
the legend scale, the Toy World are doing.
Oh, I thought you meant masterpiece.
Oh no, not masterpiece. The Toy World legend scale thing.
Toy World legend scale black. Well, that what?
Yeah.
Hang on, this I have to see because that sounds like a fucking challenge.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's Toy World. I was just picturing like Hasbro car officials just going like, yeah.
Oh, that would be amazing if they did it. Though I feel someone would probably have said, maybe don't do that if it was an official toy. And to be fair, if that had been an official toy, you would have heard about it.
Yes. Is it Toy World? It's Transform Element by any chance, is it?
It might be that one, yeah.
Because it's a kind of blocky looking robot.
Yeah, it's not like a smoothly redesigned robot mode, so she looks all model accurate. It's more like she looks like a little bit of an updated version of the toy.
Yeah.
Again, the colors are kind of weird on her as well.
Yeah, I found a listing for the toy, but I'm afraid I cannot find anything showing me her malleable breasts.
I mean, the problem is it was either on Facebook or Twitter that I saw it, so, good luck finding that footage.
But they're going to be so... Oh, those are going to break.
Yeah, it seems weird, doesn't it? Again, I would have shown you if I could have, but I can't find that stuff. And maybe it was on the Dime Chock stuff. Maybe. If anywhere, it was probably going to be on there.
He does, I'm assuming Dime Chock is a he, does tend to find this stuff.
Yeah. So that's I mean, I'll have a look through Dime Chock's page.
No, I'm
the podcast goes.
I'm loading it now.
Okay. Yeah.
Last thing he has is a Fan Stories Jabber, which is Blur. Okay. Transform Element.
You found it.
Yeah, go away. Okay. The spider mode looks decent for what it is.
Is it the video that you're watching, or is it just pictures you're looking at?
It's photos, but I'm now clicking on video.
Okay. So, live reaction of Mikey watching spider boobs getting touched.
Featured video. Okay, yeah, I see the video.
Yeah.
Away. Transform. It's an 8-second video. Let's see what we've got here, kids. Transform. Oh my god.
They're showing you the good stuff, Mikey.
Why? What?
The good stuff.
What?
What are you seeing, Mikey?
I am seeing, because this is small, right? So this is a small toy. So I've got normal, looking like man-sized fingers with a pair of tiny yet bulbous breasts.
Yes.
Just repeatedly, and this is on loop, so I don't know where it begins and ends anymore. Just going like squish, 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 squish. And it's just like, I can almost hear the... And the fact she has an expression of just supreme unimpressedness doesn't help this.
It's almost disdain.
She's just like, really? Really?
It's weird, isn't it?
I mean, Japanese toys do, as we pointed out, there is a Ryoko from Gurren Lagann you can get with malleable breasts.
Oh, yes.
And there are other, like, I think Xenosaga had a few like that. Xenosaga also had one where you could plug, the breasts were like the mounting port for a railgun. But I never got into Xenosaga, so I'm afraid I'm not sure how that works in the fiction. And like, this is a thing. This is just a thing in another part of the world, but it's just... Of all the things, like, buy my toy. Why? 'Cause this.
It's a weird thing to include in a legend scale figure.
Yeah, it is.
Fair enough. No king shaming or anything like that. It's just a weird addition to a toy that I would think that you should focus on other things to improve on or worry about at that scale. Like I said, there's that thing of like, how long will it last before those boobs just like turn to dust?
Yeah, those boobs are with us for only so long, especially if you're going to spend, like, they'll crack by the time you're done with them.
The sad day where you go to give them a squeeze and they just like crack and you go, oh no.
Not the sad day, Andy.
The sad day.
Not the sad day.
Bad days, Mikey. But yeah, I wanted to I'm glad you found the video. I wanted to mention that because I thought it was worth at least mentioning. So, shall I take us on, Mikey? Next bit of news, yeah?
Please do, please.
Well, this, I can tell you, is not about malleable breasts on another transforming toy. I mean, there could be an upgrade kit for that, but it's not out yet.
There is an upgrade kit for that, Andy. You can buy a malleable breast upgrade kit for certain Transformer toys.
But not for this one. This one being Omega Supreme, the, what was it, Wolf Cybertron Siege figure.
Yeah.
This is the Shockwave Lab SL63. We're not up to that nice point yet, but we're nearly there. Six more releases, and we can go nice. Nice. So 63, the Omega Supreme upgrade kit. What do you do, or what do you get for this upgrade kit? Let me tell you. You get some LEDs. You get lights. So you get to insert a light into his cannon at the tippity top of his rocket ship. And you also get to literally crack his head open, because there are no screws, and install an LED system and batteries into his little brain, so he can have glowy blue eyes. We were talking to Mr. Tricky about this yesterday.
Yes.
And he was the one that informed us that there is no way to open that head unless you are, getting through some glue. So I think, that at least for me, that would be a massive off-put. Because I don't want to be tampering with glued down stuff, as I would be too fearful of damaging the toy irreparably. Mikey, I mean, I don't think either that this adds a massive amount of wowie factor to the toy. What about you? Does this really tickle your pickle, as they say on the Rugrats show?
Oh God.
What?
Oh, Jesus. Just Jesus. I am neither here nor there with it. It doesn't add enough for me. It's just basically adding a few lights.
Yep.
And I know for some people, lights are a big thing with their toys, and they love those kind of electronics. But for me, it's not a deal maker or breaker.
Same.
So it's a neat inclusion. I think if you want to add that feature to your Omega Supreme, I think it's worth doing. But for me, it's not there.
Yeah, it's just a thing. I guess it's a nice upgrade. It's a simple upgrade. Granted, currently, as far as we can see from the story, no information on when it's coming out, again, or the price. But I would hope, since it's LEDs and a bit of plastic, it won't be too much. It shouldn't be, at least in my little peepers. So, Mikey, unless you have anything else you want to say, you can move us on to the next bit of news.
No, so up next we have a new third-party company, Movable Metal Arts, or MMA, who have a non-transforming Action Master figure, Andy.
Oh no. Are people already talking about that?
Oh no, I just don't even
Are you assuming? Okay.
Don't go into comments. So this is an interesting one. This is an IDW Optimus Prime using the Don Figueroa sort of late ongoing early RID season 1 design.
Yeah.
Now when this story was announced, we didn't have a name, but we do now, because a video is up on Dime Chalk's page. This is mirrored from somewhere else, but I'm going to share it up on the Twitter when we're finished here. And the name of this character, Andy, which so works if you've read Optimus Prime the comic, is the Slaughter Laird.
Oh no.
He is Slaughter Laird. Also, I've shared the video with you. It's got a lot of little stop motion bits that are very clever, and I think it highlights why this looks like a cool piece. So this is a very metallic version of the Optimus design. He comes with a wide variety of accessories, including 2 swords, an axe, a couple of knives. The swords and axe can combine into a reasonable facsimile of the Star Saber, if it was from Final Fantasy. He comes with 2 short standard Optimus guns. He also comes with 2 larger guns that are a bit more stylized and anime-ish. Then there are effects parts for those, which for blast effects. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6 pairs of hands, maybe 7.
Does it come with a video game for him to play like it does in the stop motion?
No, I'm sorry.
Lame.
Lame. It also comes with the Matrix, of course, and very, very uniquely, as an add-on for this, we have a bike. So the bike comes with a stand. The stand has adjustable parts, so you can have them like reared up and everything else. The bike is based off of Spring Arm from More Than Meets the Eye issue, I want to say 11 and 12. No, it's not More Than Meets the Eye. It is Chaos Theory. Which,
oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so
I didn't know it was a reference to anything.
Yeah. So Spring Arm was one of the policemen who used to work alongside Orion and then got murdered, and then Optimus took his corpse and rode it into the murderers.
Oh no.
Yeah. So this is this isn't a 1-for-1 match of old Spring Arm, but it's a decent facsimile, and it works quite well as a Tron bike. Got a couple of neat features. This is a decent size toy, like hitting a good masterpiece scale. It's looking he's going to cost a couple of $100. Whether you think that is too much for him or not, that's your problem. Ultimately, I think this is super cool. I love this kind of stuff, Andy. You know this of me.
It's true.
I love the non-transforming Transformers. I think this thing looks very well done. Watching the video, he's got excellent articulation. I think he's got a really solid accessory count. Love the bike. I think that's a very neat inclusion. The fact he's called Slaughter Laird Living Robot Body kind of helps as well. Or Living Body Robot. All in all, I see a couple of $100 worth of toy here.
Yeah. I mean, it looks impressive. It doesn't look like they've upped the price for no reason. It looks like you're getting your money's worth, I'd say, for the most part.
Yeah, and the first comment on the video, all that splendid effort to making it articulated and you couldn't make it sodding transformable. Do you not get the fucking point? That's not the fucking point.
Insert clip of Jobby saying, please kill me, I want to
die. But no, I really like this. Andy, your take.
Yeah, it's neat. To be honest, I think the bike is probably the weakest part for me, as it looks... I didn't think it was a thing that would come with the figure. I don't want to say it looks cheap. Maybe it's just I don't like the design.
Simplified. It looks very simplified.
Especially compared to the figure. Like the figure, maybe it's the paint job on it as well. Like Prime C's kind of like red metallic-y colors, and again like metallic silver and metallic blue, and then the bike's kind of a flat matte grayish blue. Yeah. I think because you've got like shiny metal color for the entire figure and then just kind of a matte normal kind of colored figure, it almost pulls them apart visually, like they're from two separate things. If you see what I'm saying, which
I get it.
It's not terrible. I think the idea behind it's really neat. I
just realized he has a pair of surrendering hands.
You'll never use those.
No,
never.
I know what they're from. Again,
what are they from?
They're from issue 1 of the ongoing where he surrenders to the humans, and Spike is like, "I put you in a box, and then you just sit there not doing anything for
that's
the rest
right.
of the book because that book wasn't good."
Yeah.
I can't believe they put those in.
There's a lot of care in this for the most part. What are the two of the bits of stand? Like, you've got the stand for the bike, you've got the stand for Optimus, and then you've got stands for are those for the wheels to be in like different positions?
I think it's just like like if you get a Solar Chogokin, you have that stand where you have to stick everything on it.
Right.
And sometimes that can lead stuff behind the robot, especially for something like a Mazinger.
Okay.
I think it functions in the same way, but with the bike.
Oh, right. I assumed it was just so you could like have the bike pose so the wheel was either higher up or lower down.
Oh yeah, no, that's there too, but there's multiple stand pieces.
Oh right, okay, I see what you're saying. I get you. Yeah, it's neat. There are a lot of this version of Optimus Prime coming out as well. It seems at the moment.
Yeah, it's a popular design.
And
you're
a big fan of it as well, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I love this design. It's also like the only IDW one that's really distinct.
Yeah.
Because like most of the IDW ones are kind of just variants on a theme. This one, they really went out. Like, they spoiled it with his stupid, like, he's showing up in a book where everyone has those stupid faces, but...
I was going to say, they could bring the Hot Rod.
Yeah,
Rodimus
they could, or they could fuck off.
With his nightmare face.
Well, Flame Toys is doing something partly inspired by him.
Yeah, but not fully. They're not giving him the nightmare face.
Yeah. Also, they've got one of these pictures of him doing a kabuki pose with the sword in his shoulder and the hand out, going, "Oh!" I like this company. I don't know anything about them, but they're appealing to me in their humor.
Is there a character that you'd like to see them do next then?
Well, I mean, they're probably going to try something like Megatron or Soundwave, but if I had to pick one I think would be really neat for them to do in this style, and if we're sticking with the IDW stuff just for safety's sake, someone you could get a decent accessory count out of as well.
Galvatron?
Galvatron, but you know what might be neat? Just because it's the only way you'd ever get this kind of design, Cup from Spotlight Cup.
Oh, I was going to ask, yeah. Oh, yeah, he could come with half a body and some crystals as well. That'd be neat.
Yeah, and he had little makeshift weapons he used to beat people to death. Would you have those?
Would you have a figure like that because you don't need to worry about him transforming? Would you have it so that you could armor him up as well, so you could have him in the skinny, beaten down form, and then you could armor him up to have him when he came back?
Again, really add to that accessory count, make him worth the money. But yeah, that would be really cool. Yeah, Pretender him up.
Yeah, why not? I mean, that'd be fun. It gives, again, it's a design that you're probably not going to see because the Nick Roche Cup from that Spotlight, it can't transform because there's not enough mass. Yeah, from what I recall, anyway.
That's something I like about these kind of things. Really, is that we can really go out there and what we can do. Yeah, the accessory count, the designs you use, everything else. Since you're not you're not enslaved to the idea of transformation.
No, it's true.
You're completely free. Tarn, from Flame Toys, is a great example of a figure that really only exists because a company said we'll do an action figure.
Sure. And then everybody said, "Why doesn't it transform?"
and then Flame Toys was just like, "We're making model kits next," and everyone went quiet. But. No, it's really good. You think about it, if you want to look at a third-party figure that was kind of ruined by transforming, the Mastermind Creations Megatron, where he transforms into nothing, but there's clear engineering compromises in the figure. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
I think I don't know about other people, but I'm still waiting to see a third-party company do an Ilarion figure, because I don't think Hasbro's going to do Ilarion for a long time.
I want Ilarion, and I want a 3-pack of Thundercracker, Marissa, and Buster. But Aileron is my big one.
Aileron.
I would love a really, really good one.
Yeah.
And, plus it would be an excuse to do another RC.
Yeah, that'd be all right. I'd be okay with that, as long as you give her a crazy face. I'm not happy with seeing happy RCs and only one with the cool face, which is the black colored version, which was a TFCon exclusive.
That's so.
Fuck you.
Yeah. One day we'll know what joy is.
Did you see the picture I sent you on Twitter today, which was the horrible pink one with the black face? It was creepy.
I'm a prototype. Prototype.
See, I looked at it more like the scene in an anime show, where the character has a red eye and their entire face turns black because they're feeling evil.
Evil.
Yeah, that's how I saw it as well. But yeah, there you go. Yeah. Shall I move on, Mikey?
Please do.
Or is it you?
It's you.
Okay, yeah, cool. Mikey.
Yes.
Mikey.
Yes.
This is a figure that we didn't know was coming up. I'm slightly disappointed it's in this line, but almost not surprised, and I'll explain why, as we have I don't know why it's a possible first look, because it's, as far as
it's a multiple first look. There's more than one toy here.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, it's certainly the first time we've seen this toy, but it's certainly this toy. It's Wreck and Ruin from the Cyberverse line. It seems to be in the same line as Lugnut, whatever stupid name that was called. I've got an idea for that as well to justify Lugnut, but I'll get to that. The Hot Rod with the armor, the Bumblebee with the armor, all those guys with the extra armor gimmicks. Rack and Ruin are coming together. They're going to turn into a tank. That makes sense. It's a fairly smart and sensible and doable idea for their body build. But I do wish they were moved over to the right hand side, which is where the deluxes seem to be, which again we'll talk about in a bit.
Where Joy seems to be.
Yes. Now, why do I think Rack and Ruin and Lugnut are coming out in this line? Because, Mikey, on your shelf, you want to have a representation of characters usually, don't you?
Yes.
But what if I was then to tell you there's a better version of that character out now? What do people usually do in that situation?
do a video of them throwing the original toy in the bin.
Exactly. I'm not saying this is entirely going to happen, but I wouldn't be super surprised if it's a case of, okay, here's a toy, you get it for the representation. Here's a deluxe figure, and you go, ooh, I'd much rather have that.
Yeah.
It's a guess. It's a horrible, dirty marketing guess, but in my mind, that makes a logical kind of path, because like normal, a lot of adult fans aren't going to rush to buy the armor changer ones unless it's a unique character. If there was already like, if you put out deluxe Rack and Ruin and then put out this one, I think most fans would probably go for the deluxe one unless it was garbage.
Yeah.
Just a thought that popped into my head. Now, Mikey, let me justify Lugnut. So Lugnut, we've both decided Lugnut isn't really Lugnut, and they call her Clobber.
Yeah.
Do you know how you justify Clobber?
How do you justify Clobber?
And how do you justify Clobber and monetize it for the future as a business move?
Go on.
Do you remember the repaint of Lugnut into Atomic Lugnut?
Oh, God.
You call that one Clobber, you make that Clobber, and you say that's the female Lugnut. That's the justified reason. It's the Thundercracker Skywarp effect. So then every time you put out a Lugnut or an Atomic Lugnut being Clobber, you can put out both of them, and then people would want both of them because they are two separate characters. Right? To me, that makes more sense.
Truth in this than I'd like to think.
In my eyes, again, from a business standpoint, that makes more sense than just going, here's Lugnut, how about we make him a girl and call her Clobber? How about instead we use a repaint that's already established? We've already established that from the animated series, and we give it a character, and we make it its own unique thing. Boom. Sold. And then people would there's no guarantee they'd want both, but people would do the horrible thing of justifying it because it's like, well, a different character. I don't know. That's just a thought. So, Mikey, you can either talk about my thought, or you can talk about the fact that it looks like that we're getting a deluxe version of Grimlock and Hot Rod, which are the first time we've seen them. Granted, Grimlock is in prototype colors, but we see Hot Rod, who is... I don't know if... I think you've said it before, you don't like Hot Rod in this show, right?
No, I hate him. I think he's one of the worst characters, in all honesty.
Yeah, and they're not great pictures of these two new deluxes, and it was neither a great picture of Rack and Ruin, but... Okay, so you can... Where do you want to go first, Mikey? Do you want to talk about Atomic Lugnut being Clobber? Do you want to talk about Rack and Ruin? Or do you want to talk about the two deluxes?
I'll talk about Rack and Ruin because we spent a long time saying Rack and Ruin would never be made.
That's true, because I didn't think they would be.
No, I don't think anyone reasonable person did.
No.
And I think it sort of shows that Clobber and Lugnut... Clobber and Rack and Ruin are by far the most posable of the... toys in that line. Going like, listen, we know, which is why I'd be slightly worried, because like they've clearly made them a bit more than the other ones. Like, maybe we won't bother doing deluxes for these ones.
Oh, I could see what you're saying. Yeah.
And I was just like, if you do that, you're shitty people. But no, I could kind of believe it. I think if we don't get an Atomic repaint of Clobber, I'll be shocked.
Yeah.
Now you pointed out, but it's it's always impossible. Like, they may not do it, but no, there's an interesting thing. I think you may have hit on something there. As for the deluxes, they both look pretty good. Hot Rod's got flames because Hot Rod. The Grimlock looks really solid. Just it's a prototype and it's not a great picture, but he looks pretty well put together. I'd still like that big one that came out recently. Because it's basically, hey, we had to put a gimmick in there, but we made it as as little invasion in it as possible. As non-invasive. I'm not talking tonight. As non-invasive as possible. So I think I'd still like that one, but I think this one looks like it is going to be the objectively better toy. And Grimlock in Cyberverse is just a joy.
Yeah.
He is just so much fun. Just so good. And Hot Rod, I don't like the character, but the design is good. I think he's going to suffer from a lack of paint, though.
He's very, very just red.
Yeah, and just looking at these photos, he looks like he's going to be the weakest of the six.
Does he have more black on him in the show, or is he basically that color? Because I can't remember offhand.
He's kind of that color, but I think they've got better contrast.
Does he have orange on his thighs, and it's just not picking well up on this image as well?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think he does. Yeah.
So maybe it'll look a little bit less just red in person.
Hopefully.
Yeah, but you're right though. It's very red. Very.
We also have like prices from this. So the deluxes are going to be 2,500 yen.
I think that's about the same price as they are in America. Similar-ish, at least. So that makes sense.
Rack and Rune are going to be 2,800 yen, which I guarantee you is cheaper than that. They're going to be over here.
Maybe.
Because one of the reasons I haven't got that Grimlock is because I've seen how much he priced.
Oh, you don't need to now.
Yeah, I still want him though, because he's big.
You just get a deluxe one though. Be good.
I could get both.
You could, but yeah, that's if the big one goes on sale, I'm sure.
Like, I nearly bought the one that spat fire. Remember that? Where he can't move his neck?
Yeah.
I saw that a lot, and I saw it on sale, and I stood there in Smith's holding it, just staring. Just like, I'm sure children were walking by going like, Mommy, what's wrong with him?
What's wrong with the old man, Mummy? Why is he crying?
Why are the tears red, Mummy?
Oh no. I'm surprised we haven't seen a deluxe Seeker yet, and then hundreds of variations, because it's easy to do.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised.
There's a lot of Seeker colors in Cyberverse, almost deliberately so. I'm waiting for a good one of those to come out, because then you're going to get the 3. Actually, no, because Starscream's slightly different, but we know we'll get at least 3, as in Hailstorm, Thundercracker, Skywarp, maybe some of the other ones. Acid Storm, maybe. Actually, if they do an Acid Storm, what head will they give him or her, depending on the animation model?
Yeah.
And how angry will people be when they don't get the head that they want?
Damn. Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Andy, what have you done?
It's not me. It's a problem that Boulder Media have created for Hasbro. Where will the line be drawn, Mikey? Here, no farther.
Oh, God.
Something to consider. Unless you got something else then, Mikey, why don't you take us on to the next bit of news?
Yeah, this is a very unexpected and unfortunately short-lived little news story.
Yeah.
Basically, you have the day we're recording this and the day we're not. It's the 3rd and the 4th is when you can get in on this. So if you're interested, get a third-party middleman service going right now, because otherwise you've missed this, and I think that's a shame. I also hope the t-shirt's still available. But yeah, so an unusual crossover, Japanese rock band, Bump of Chicken. Fantastic. Have partnered with Takara Tomy to bring us Sonic Blue Bumble and Exosuit Chama. Chama is the frontman for the group, who is the most J-pop looking man who has ever lived. Look at his blonde hair, Andy.
I see it. It's very pop.
Yes.
I would say.
So this is a blue repaint of the Titans Return Bumblebee, which is being released as part of their Aurora Arc Tour 2019 promotion campaign. So you've got Bumblebee done into blue, and you've got the Spike figure repainted into Chama, who is the bassist Yoshifumi Naoi. So he's got a little blonde head in him, and then in the anime art, you can see that it's Bumblebee running around with the little man in an exosuit with blonde hair, who looks weirdly like he should be in a Gundam. So yeah, this comes in a closed box, and there is also a t-shirt going along with this, which is the band done in a very anime style, with Bumblebee in his Sonic colors behind him. I want that t-shirt. Andy.
Yeah.
That is a well done, almost Trigger-esque t-shirt. Yeah, I love this. I love this lots. I really, really like this. I would like more stuff like this. This is so much better than the time Megatron was a football player.
Yep.
I love the t-shirt. I really hope the t-shirt is available for longer than the toy. They're both quite, they're not cheap, but it's a rare exclusive thing. It's okay. Yeah, if you've got a middleman service that could get you this, do it. Or if maybe the website will be really, really kind and let you do it. I don't have the money right now, or else I genuinely would pick up at least the T-shirt, if not the figure, because I just love stuff like this. This is that weird, that it's hitting that level of crazy that appeals to me as an individual.
Yeah, the T-shirt design is very kind of. Maybe it's because of the character design, but it reminds me of Pantene stocking a little bit.
Yeah,
which isn't
totally
my
agree with
aesthetic, but I do kind of. I like it just because it's a bit weird and out there.
Yeah, no, this I really dig.
The figure's not that interesting, and it doesn't help that it's that Bumblebee, which is again not very good.
I heard it was a good Bumblebee. I've never handled it. I've just heard it was good.
I didn't like it when I had a fiddle with Dave's. I was just like, yeah, I've had better Bumblebees in my time while drinking wine. It's fun and weird. He doesn't have Ankh hair though, so points off for that.
No, but he's not. I never said he was perfect.
No, that's true. That's true. You didn't say you had a man crush, so that's fair.
No, exactly.
I'll give you that.
My man crush is not for him. My man crush is reserved for others.
That's true. For hands of bird monsters.
Exactly.
Yeah. Shall I take us on to the last story then, Mr. Mikey?
Please do. 2
bits of guests news have been announced for TF Nation 2020. The first, which is a story I didn't give you because it's not gone up on TFW, was Jack Lawrence, artist extraordinaire, has been announced. Yes, I know. He's been announced for TF Nation, as well as, if you don't know Jack, he's done a lot of the stuff from Lost Light. So that has he done much from this new series? Can't remember offhand.
Think Jack's done anything from this series.
No, I couldn't remember offhand. I didn't think he had, but I didn't want to say for sure. But yeah, you'll mainly know him from Lost Light. And the other guest is Lee Sullivan, not related to little Mikey here, because he's O'Sullivan.
Also, the picture Wikipedia has for Jack is Jack Lawrence in the 90s when he was not the buffest man who ever lived.
Oh, okay.
And he's he looks so wee in comparison.
If you're not aware, Lee Sullivan is the guy who's done a lot of artwork for the interiors from 1988 onwards for the UK Marvel Comics. So he brought you pages, the fight between Megatron and Galvatron and the Mayhem Attack Squad. He's that artist, if you're aware of that kind of era. That's the kind of artist that he is. So he's going to be coming. Jack's going to be coming. And if you're not aware, it's again at the hotel Hilton Birmingham Metropole, which I still find has incredibly uncomfy beds, at least for me. Hate them. Never sleep well there. And it's going to be the 14th to the 16th of August 2020. So why don't you come down and we cannot sleep together? That's not meant to sound as sexual as it might be.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah. But Mikey knows. We've shared a room, Mikey. There's little comfortable sleep there.
No, there's no sleeping there.
There's only merely closing your eyes and waking up and going, I want to die. You laugh because you know.
Yeah.
That's all the Transformers news for this week, though, Mr. Mikey. So, as usual, I'm going to pass this bucket of slop over to you and ask you what you've been up to this week. What are you done for fun?
Not a huge amount. Another one of those weeks where it was just basically go to work, come back, go sleep.
Okay.
But I did manage to get a few wee things in. Kamen Rider Zero One. I almost said Geo there, and which had that weird pronunciation. 01 episode 9 aired. Which was an interesting one. It kind of shook up some of the dynamics. It also sort of dealt with it's moving towards the idea that these things are experiencing, the Humagears robots, they're experiencing a singularity where if they're online long enough, they'll start to become self-aware.
Oh, okay.
And what effect that has, I mean, how we should react to that. Are we looking for this? They actually basically say the line, if a robot develops a sentience, will it have good intentions? Which is, it's a big deal when you're talking about the whole development of AI as we move forward. It also deals with the secondary writers' Fua's biases and prejudices against the robots because he has to deal with a doctor one, and it sort of affects how he sees the world. Overall, I'm still very intrigued by the story. I think that's kind of the strongest part. They've also got some I see what you're doing bad stuff. Where
are we up to now at this point, Mr.
9, so episode 9. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say overall the show is holding up. I'd say there's a couple of things that are letting it down.
What's holding it back for you? Is it spoilers stuff that you'd have to get into to explain that?
No. So I think the story, they could be putting more emphasis on... So far it's been very emphasis focused on the world building.
Right.
I'd like to see a bit more on the characters. There's good character work, but just that little bit extra.
Okay, you want that big character push. I suppose that might be coming up soon since we're getting into the double digits now. Maybe.
Yeah, and particularly Horobi, who I think is just kind of a little bland at this stage. He's a bit two-dimensional. Also, unfortunately, I think Jin's actor is not doing the best job, particularly when he has to voice act, because he's doing the laugh. He has this really bad laugh, and there's a bit when he transforms, it's supposed to be painful, and then he goes like, ah.
Wow, that sounds sexy.
And it's just when I think, because when they get really people who are really into the voice acting side of things, it's so important in writer.
Yeah.
Like Cronus's actor, who was like, oh, I'm a singer and everything else, but then they got him to do the voice acting, and just holy shit, he's actually good. Because I think as much as I think the suit actor did a great job with him, I think it was the voice that really sold that character for me. I like the Zep Pandas. Where would we be without the Zep Pandas, Andy?
It's true.
Also, the figure art of Game Juice Kronos is out and looks amazing. But his performance is just letting me down a bit.
Oh, that's just a shame.
Yeah, but
maybe it'll pick up as it goes, kind of like X8.
Yeah, the pace will change. The actors will get more experience. It will grow and change, and that's the thing about a writer show. They run from an average between 40 and 50 episodes. Yeah. We've barely scratched the surface of where this series is going. Granted,
sometimes they pick up in quality, and sometimes they go
die.
The other way.
They die and get shot in the head because they need to die.
Because fuck you.
Because fuck you, Andy.
Sell the toys.
But I don't want to sell the toys.
Sell the toys!
Unless you're Toshiki Inoue, who rams in a toy randomly into an episode and then pretends it never happened.
Oh, they were fun times.
Ruby is back on, which completely caught me off guard last night.
Okay.
So Volume 7, Episode 1 has aired. The gang is in the city of Atlas looking for the next relic, and things are all a bit 1930s Germany. But no, it's a good opening. It's quite low key. It's mostly just reminding you these are the characters, this is the situation, showing what Atlas is like right now, introducing one new character, having a quite big reveal towards the end for an existing character, having a fight scene, still very well done. I definitely think there's been another tech upgrade, because the colors and everything else are a lot more gradient than there were before.
Okay.
Overall strong start, I think. Like I said, low key but strong. But I love Ruby, so I am biased. One thing I'm not super pleased with is the new voice for Crow. Because of course, if you know, he was originally played by Vic Mignogna, whose name I can never pronounce. And obviously things got a little complicated there for him over the last year or so, and he's been let go from a lot of projects, one of which was Ruby. He was really, really good as Crow.
Yeah.
And the guy doing it now is kind of not super comfortable in the character yet and feels like he's still trying to do the impression.
I was going to ask if he was doing the impression or if he'd made it his own at this point.
No, not yet. I get there's a couple of lines there where you can kind of hear, okay, the guy will probably get it soon enough.
I mean, I imagine it's quite hard to step into somebody else's role and try and do their voice, because that's kind of really, I guess, what you should be doing to a point. It's a tricky situation.
Very. But he's doing his best. He's probably going to get criticism for you're not as good as Vic, and I'm just the guy's doing his best job.
Yeah, I mean, you can only do what you can.
Yeah, but the writing is there, the animation is there. Overall, the show is still I'm just sitting there it's nice to be back. I wonder who's going to die horribly this time.
Everyone.
It keeps. I remember when Ruby was this novelty thing of just look at these action scenes and this really dodgy running sequence, and now it's oh god, they won't stop killing people. Why is everyone dead? But yeah, still looking forward to this season. I'm already annoyed that it's going to be over soon, because it's going to be 13 or 15 episodes and then it's done. So I just want it to go on forever. I don't actually. I hope they start picking up the pace and getting on with the plot, the main plot, because I'm getting that manga fatigue thing at the moment from like a lot of shows where I don't want to invest in them because I know there's like 200 manga chapters and it's still not finished.
Yeah.
Like, Ruby doesn't have that, but it's just like, okay, Ruby will move at its own pace and I'm happy, but still. My voice is gone, which is why I sound a bit off at the moment. And the only other thing of note was I watched the pilot for Has Been Hotel. Have you heard of this, Andy?
This is the hotel set in hell, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got it's got a very kind of American style to it, but it's not the Cal Art style, which is really nice to not see anymore.
Yeah.
Or to see less of. I'm not sure if it's a show that from the thing that I saw interested me super hard, but it looks a little bit unique, which is nice.
What was the bit you saw, just out of curiosity's sake?
It was a singing number. I think it was like a trailer from a long time ago when it was like in it's coming, and I think the main lady who has like a red almost suit on or something
Charlie.
like that. Okay. She has like a white face, almost like she's got makeup on. She was doing like a song number or something like that. I don't know. It's been a while.
So yeah, it is a musical. So there are 2 short songs in this episode. It is a pilot. It's very much a pilot. Some of the characters don't get the development you'd really like them to.
Right.
I don't know if this has been picked up, if this is going to be picked up or what, but this was a kickstarted sort of passion project for the creator. Very good voice cast. Very, very good voice cast. Basic story is hell is overpopulated. Everyone dies. They become a demon. They live their lives of not really being punished, just sort of being kind of assholes to each other. But they're massively overpopulated. So once a year, angels of death fly down from heaven and slaughter them. Basically, it's a cull. Every year, there's a cull. And we start the show after the last one where it's all being cleaned up and, they're demons, so they're all taking this in stride, except Charlie, who is the daughter of Lucifer and is just kind of this very upbeat and likable, kind individual who really hates the fact that once a year, a large portion of her city gets murdered.
Is there a determination of who dies and who doesn't?
It seems to be random. It seems kind of like The Purge. If they catch you outside, you're screwed.
Okay, fair enough.
So the basic idea, Charlie has the idea of having the Happy Hotel, which is a place for sinners to go to be redeemed, and how they'll deal with the population problem is to move people back up to hell. To hell.
I like that. So it's like, okay, we're done with this problem. Fucking send them upstairs.
Yeah.
Somehow.
No one really thinks she can do it. She's got one. She's doing this with her girlfriend Vaggie, who is Latina, mildly like everyone has an animal motif. Like, Charlie is kind of like this very slight puppy in there. And Vaggie is a moth. And is very loud and has a lot of knives. And then they've got one person attending the hotel called Angel Dust, who is a spider demon gay porn star prostitute.
Okay.
Who is at the hotel because they're giving him free room and board.
Yeah.
And is kind of an asshole. And it all looks like it's going to fall apart until Alistair the radio demon gets involved and says he will help them because he doesn't think what they're doing will work, but he likes the idea of watching people try to better themselves and fail.
Okay.
And he's very open about this. And yeah, that's the basic premise. I like the characters. Very good performances. Charlie, I think, is very endearing as a protagonist. Angel Dust is just a scumbag, but a fun one.
Sorry, is this show a one-off or is this like a...
It's a pilot, so I don't...
okay.
I know they want to do a full series, but I don't know if this has been picked up or I don't know what the plan is.
Who's it distributed by? Is it like...
YouTube.
Shown...
It was...
Oh, it's a YouTube thing. Okay.
Yeah. So it was done like... It was a Kickstarter and then it got fully funded and it got some proper voice talent in as well. Like,
oh, wow.
Are
we assuming that if anywhere it'll go to Netflix? Because it looked like a show that would go to Netflix rather than anything like Adult Swim.
I would, to be honest, I would put it on Netflix.
You think it would do best there?
Yeah, or I'd give it to Rooster Teeth or someone like that. I would not put it on TV.
Okay,
I think the web format really helps it.
Right.
I would say Alistair is absolutely the breakout character. I think they do an excellent job with the vocal effects and making him rather endearing, but at the same time incredibly sinister. Also, the villain for this one, which is Serpentius, which is a snake man, is just like a 90s cartoon villain. and they use him as a great contrast for Alistair at the end of it. But no, it's quite funny. The music isn't too shabby. I'm not really into musicals, but it works in this case, I think, for what they're going for. Visuals are really fun. At times reminds me of Powerpuff Girls.
Okay.
In some of the angles, especially, do you remember him?
Yes.
Yeah, like how they framed him and how they used lighting. A lot of use of shadow in this.
Do you think he would work if like he popped in for a cameo?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like his design, from what I recall, looked like it would very easily just kind of flop in there and sit well.
And also, I would say, like, while there's an animation style, because of how fluid the actual movement and everything else is, it can pick up a lot of different visual tweaks. Like I said, anything with Alistair usually has a lot going on visually. But no, I'd say it's worth a shot to at least sit down and watch. And like it's free, it's on YouTube. Check it out. Has Been Hotel.
Cool.
And that's me, really.
And nothing else.
Nope, that was my week.
Wow, okay. Shall I talk about what I've done, Mr. Mikey?
No, I want to end the show now.
Oh my god!
I just want to watch that Black Arachnia video for a few more hours.
Okay. Well, to each their own, as they say. Last week, I was able to go and see The Shining at the cinema. So it was the first time I ever saw The Shining. Yeah, the first time I've ever seen it on the big screen. That is a heavy movie on the big screen. It feels real. Like, I'm a big fan of The Shining, so maybe I'm just more into it, but like seeing it on the big screen and having that kind of cinema experience, it felt like someone was leaning on my back the entire time with this kind of sense of dread. And I don't know whether that was because I knew what was coming or whether that was just, like I say, the movie experience. I do feel like the people sitting next to me who were, I don't know if they're the same age of me or a bit younger maybe, but it feels like those two lads maybe weren't into it as much because it's not like a jump scare kind of horror film. It's more, it is a lot more of that atmosphere, psychological kind of thing, which I really liked. So seeing it up there on the big screen, I thought was fantastic. I was really happy I got to see it. Very, very pleased. If possible, and you're a fan of The Shining, definitely try and see it at the big screen. I think they put it up, obviously because it was Halloween, and they have Doctor Sleep coming out soon. And I hear that Doctor Sleep's meant to be okay.
I don't trust it.
Neither do I, because I think of a lot of Stephen King works that get put into media, and a lot of them don't work. A lot of them don't work. Some of the newer stuff though that goes onto Netflix, like I think it was called The Tallgrass or something like that. They seem to be okay. It's not like the Langoliers or some of the other ones, Tommy Knockers. Oh man, those are. If you want a good laugh, that's a shit you need to start drinking from. I also watched a anime, Mr. Mikey, called Another. Have you heard of Another?
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's a horror-based one, and horror-based anime usually don't go very well. And I will admit that I didn't feel much horror from it, just hilarity. Unfortunately. It's about I don't know whether to talk about the spoiler because it starts off and it tries and gives you an impression of what's going on, and then it kind of very quickly turns it around and says, "Oh, that's not what's going on at all. This is what's actually going on." So maybe I won't talk about the plot of the show, but let's suffice it to say, kids in one specific classroom in this town are dying for specific reasons. No one know. Well, people know why, but like I say, spoilers. So I'm not going to go into it. But I thought like I say, horror anime usually don't work, and I like anime as a medium, but I don't think it conveys horror very well.
It depends on the series. I mean, we've both seen good ones.
We have, yeah. It's all the problem is I don't think a lot of them set up atmosphere very well. And I think for me, horror's all about setting up atmosphere and the sense of dread. And a lot of the time there isn't that. Usually they try and make it spooky and scary. And you're just like, oh, but it has that, like, because it's not real, it has that disconnect for it having any kind of real sense of dread, I find. Obviously there are exceptions to that and whatnot, but that's kind of just a roundup. The first death, though, is hilarious. Super funny, I thought. A girl is running out of the classroom, with her umbrella, slips on the staircase, and lands point first on her umbrella through her throat. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, you stupid bitch. You stupid bitch. So she's there, and she's just going... as like everyone's just kind of go, oh no, she's dead. Yeah, she's dead. So it's one of those things like she wasn't pushed, she wasn't like, there wasn't a demon that like threw her down the stairs or ripped her in half or anything. She slipped because her shoes were wet and she was running down the stairs, and then it showed earlier in the series how pointy for some reason this umbrella was, and there was like an actual point on it. It was like a lance. I don't know. Like, usually with umbrellas, it's like flat at the top, isn't it? It's like there's maybe a small point, but then it's like cut off and it's just flat. Probably for this stupid reason, because people keep murdering themselves with umbrellas. Another fun one was a kid is... a ball gets hit out into the ocean, so they start swimming out to the ocean. And they stop because earlier in the day you find out they'd fallen down the stairs or something and hit the head pretty hard, so they just kind of black out in the water, and then this boat comes around the corner of the reef and just runs them over. Like, boop. It's a silly anime, and like I say, I don't think it's a good horror, but it made me chuckle a fair bit. I think Higarashi's probably one of the better horror ones I've seen, even though it's not great.
A problem at the end of it, I'd say. Season 1, I think, stands up, but season 2, not so much.
Yeah, I think that's the issue with Higurashi. It starts well and then gets progressively worse as they explain everything. Never explain in horror. No, I think, because your mind can make it worse than it actually is. So that was another thing I did. What else have I done? Did I talk about finishing Gundam The Origins? No. I've done that. So I'd seen 3 of those movies, which is the movie compilation of a manga done by the original Gundam artist from back in 1970, probably before 1979, but the original manga artist of Gundam, where it basically retells a lot of the story of Gundam. That's the manga. And it also adds to it as well. So the movies are basically focused on the character of Shah Aznable, and how he becomes the famous kind of Zeon pilot who pilots the red Zakus and all that kind of jazz, and what his motivation is, and expands on his character, because it's very, very loosely... This is the problem with the original 79 show. It's very much a 79 anime, which is... It's really long, and there's not actually a huge amount of story, but there's a lot of people talking about not a lot. And that's just an issue with Japanese media of the time. And because you've said, you kind of know what I mean. So they kind of, I think at the end of Gundam, basically explained who Char's character was in about a minute or 2 minutes. and these like 6 movies expand on that. So it shows how the 100-Year War starts, which is the main Gundam war begins. It's really good, really interesting, had me captivated and made me go, you know what? It's slightly unsatisfying because it leads perfectly into the 79 show, but that show's so not really very, in my opinion, very fun to go back and rewatch. I wish they'd either continue the origin like the manga did and just retell that show, or just do like Gundam Revive 79 and just redo that entire series. And if you did that, you could redo it with better animation throughout, because they did have compilation movies that smushed the series down, but they had like new animated parts. So you had like 79 animated parts, then with like 90s animated movies quality. So it's like really jarring. And you could also set up stuff for the rest of the UC Universal Century series and kind of implant stuff in that, because you know where it's going to go already. So you can add in like ideas of what you want it to do and just make the original Gundam show a bit better. That's what I would like to see anyway.
Is this the clip was the clip you put up, I think it was today, from that show, or was it from a different show? No,
that's from the 8th Mobile Suit Team.
I was going to say, because
that's
that
one of the best. That one's from the 80s, I think. That's one of the best Gundam shows, I find. The animation's really good, as you saw from the clip I showed.
that was top notch.
Yeah, it's like, and the story's pretty solid. It takes place during like the Gundam series, during this 100 War series, but it's set primarily on Earth. So it's when like all the space Zeon forces land on Earth, and obviously there's the conflict in space, but this focuses on the conflict on Earth with a group of soldiers who are fighting in the war. And that like, if you have to watch one Gundam series, I'd say that one. That one's really good. As a like, it's not one of your fun ones like Build Fighters or anything like that. It's more of a solid Gundam show. It's not like G Fighter, which is again a fun one. But yeah, 8th Mobile Suit Team.
So, Origin, does it have a Gundam in it?
No. It's
Because I was
talked
thinking,
about.
like, if it's the prequel, then the RX-01 isn't going to be a factor in it yet.
No, the RX-78 is talked about.
Sorry.
Yeah, because the main characters in the series, Amro's dad, is making it during the movies, and he's like, "Shit, we need to focus on making this Gundam now because it's the only thing that's going to stop the Zeon forces just smashing us completely." So you never see the Gundam, but you do have its name dropped, and you see blueprints of it, and that's it. Everything else is just like, okay, no, it's weird because it's trying to do a lot. Like the 6 movies are trying to do a lot of things. It's setting up Shah, it's setting up the political state of Zeon, and its conflict with the Federation, and setting up all of the other members of the Zabi family, who are the leaders of Zeon. So it goes through all of them. It's good and interesting. It does the political stuff really well. I again, Gundam the Origin, really good, and would recommend that highly. 6 movies. You're not in and out. It's 6 movies, but it's worth watching. They actually do a lot of CG work for the Gundams, and usually that doesn't work. But I think because it's set primarily in space, it looks really good. It's also quite well done CG. So because it's not set on Earth, they don't need to worry about making Earth look, in quotations, realistic or anything like that. They've just got to have it to the background of space. So yeah, that's high quality. Really enjoyed it. Excuse me. I can't remember where I was up to with my one-imation of the 7 Deadly Sins last time we talked.
You had started.
I've now finished season 1. I finished the mediocre season 2, which was 4 episodes, which was filler, basically. But it was only 4 episodes. And a good, I think, halfway through season 2. I really like it. I really like this show. It is a shonen series, but it's done very well. It's very compelling. The art style's still good. I'm liking all the characters. They seem to be very. It's a series where all of the characters, I think I said this before, are overpowered. But it doesn't detract from the fights being interesting to watch. So again, with 7 Deadly Sins, I would recommend that. Season 2 is almost completely skippable, though. Those 4 episodes are meant to be kind of a lead into the next season. But the amount of actual value that you get from it is like 1 episode, which is episode 4, because it's a bit of character stuff, which is almost completely erased in a second. And then it's maybe about 3 minutes from the previous episodes, because it's like, things are happening. It's like, we're not going to talk about that, though. And you're like, oh, come on, though. Come on. But then season 2 starts and it gets really interesting again. So I'm enjoying that. I'm getting to the point where I've nearly finished it. And I'm going to be sad because it's been fun. Super duper fun. Episode of Fate Grand Order, Absolute Demonic Fort, Babylonia. Episode 5 has happened now. Episode 5 was really fucking good. Again, I know the story of this because I've played the game, so I don't know whether I'm completely... this reminds me, because I thought about this while I was in bed last night watching the episode, which I wanted to ask you. Because I've played it, I don't know whether I'm more invested in it because I've already seen it and I'm just happy to see it well represented, or if I'm still enjoying it because I did find the story to be well done for the show. And what I wanted to ask you, Mikey, was... what did you do first? Did you do Steins Gate the anime first, or did you do Steins Gate the game first?
I did Steins Gate the game.
Did you find then that perhaps how did you feel about the anime then? Did you feel
I liked
that you
it a lot, but
this is the thing?
the missing parts.
Did you like it for what it could you feel that you liked it for more than what it was, or did you feel that you liked it more because you were already invested in it? If you know what I mean.
I liked it because I thought it was a good, like, one of, in my opinion, the best adaptation animes.
Right.
Which is not an easy thing to do properly. But
No.
I was very aware of the fact that I was getting part of the story because they had to take, like, at time pick and choose which elements of the story they kept.
Yeah, that's true. Yours is a little bit different from mine since my mobile game doesn't have branching stories. Yours had loads of different endings, didn't it?
But I also was very aware of the fact that I was mostly trying to get the dub experience from the anime.
Oh yeah, you were doing the English stuff, weren't you?
Yeah,
because
I'd gone through the whole, like, I was already familiar with the Japanese voice. I thought it would give me extra reason to watch it. I think it was a good adaptation, and I definitely still have to pick up Steins Gate Elite, which is taking all the animation and then doing loads of new animation for all the missing endings. But I would say, having played the game, the anime was mostly a complement to that. It wasn't an experience in of itself.
Yeah.
So that, I don't know if that answers the question, but
it's tricky. It's tricky. I would be interested to hear what somebody thinks of Grand Order. Who hasn't seen it?
Porn in it.
There's no porn in it. There was none in the video game either.
Really?
Yeah, no, because it's a mobile game.
No. I've seen. I know there are mobile games with.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not the game is mainly about I guess like this kind of an okay story.
Hang on. This is based off a mobile game.
Yeah.
That's kind of fascinating because those tend to be light experiences at the best of times.
Yeah. Fate Grand Order had a long period of time where each of the singularities, which is the things you're meant to solve, your kind of mission structure, a lot of them were very basic. Yeah. Like very basic, and not a lot happened in any of them that was really interesting. And then the last two happened, one being in Camelot, which was a smushing of time periods of ancient Egypt, the Middle East, and Camelot, and it was the meshing of those two together while things were blowing up and everything was going bad, which was an interesting story. And then the last one, which was the Babylonia one, which again had its own unique, interesting story. So it was this weird thing of like five of the stories were very kind of meh, and then the last two were really interesting and engaging. And I think that's mainly because they started leaning really heavily into the mythology of the heroes that they were focusing on, and then building on their stories from there. So the Camelot one, they focused heavily on Bedivere from Arthurian legend.
Yeah.
And you know how, you may or may not know, the Arthurian legend is Arthur dies and Bedivere throws is it Excalibur into the lake?
Yeah, get returned to the lady.
Yeah, in this version, the reason why the world's breaking down is because Bedivere doesn't throw the sword into the lake. And Arthur then uses Rongominiad, which is a sacred lance, and becomes a god because of overuse of time, loses the humanity and kind of proceeds that way. And Bedivere keeps Excalibur, which prolongs his life, and he travels to Avalon and then is told to kind of fix the shit he's made up. So it's kind of that redemption arc of I've failed as a knight. So it has that interesting aspect to it. And then you've got Babylonia, which has some focus on Gilgamesh when he returned. Like I think I mentioned before, Gilgamesh returns from his journey of fucking up and not getting eternal life, and then also meeting a remade Enkidu, which was his best friend, which is why he went on his journey and stopped being a cock. Yeah. So it has those kind of interesting elements. It builds on those really interesting elements from the mythologies of the characters, is why I think those two stories probably work a lot better than the other ones, which were just like, I guess we're having an adventure here. Woo, fix it. So, yeah. I'm really enjoying it, and the animation's top quality as well. So there's that. Was there anything else viewing wise? I don't think so. I think that's all of the stuff I've been watching. because I watched a lot of stuff. In terms of stuff I got a box yesterday and today, which were the same order, but they were divided into 2 separate orders, which I was annoyed about, which were 3 model kits. One I built, one I'm in the process of building, and the other one hasn't been touched. So the first box was a Gundam. They're all Gundams, because I was in the Gundam mood. So I got the Gyan, which I've wanted for a while. The Gyan is from the original Gundam series. I love it. A lot of people don't like the Gyan, but it's kind of the fencing Gundam. It's got an interesting mono head design. It has a special hand, so it can do, wrist motions on toys, Mikey, usually in and out.
Yeah.
And rarely you get kind of the up and down one. He has the up and down one, obviously, specifically, so he can do the thrusts. Because, he's a lancing style, a fencing style of Gundam, so he's got to poke with his beam saber. Gundam. I'll find a picture of it, so at least you can get an idea of what the Gyan looks like. Yeah, this is the one I've built.
Gyan.
The Gyan. It's got a slight.
Oh yeah, I've seen him.
Yeah,
I didn't think he was from Gundam. I thought he was from something else.
No, he is a Gundam. Well, he's not a Gundam, but he's from the original series. Yeah, I like his shield as well because it's got like missiles in it, and he shoots people with the missiles, and it's fun. It's really good kit, fun to put together. Got some good articulation to it, and I just it's fun. It's one of those. It's not a complete grunt mech, but it's got a simplistic grunt like design to it, and I kind of usually prefer that over the oh my god, look at all the things Gundam designs sometimes go for. Yeah. Which can be a little bit over the top. The other one I got was the real grade Sazabi, which came in a fucking massive box. That was the one that came in a separate box. And I was like, why is these 2 boxes? And I got this box, and I was like, okay, fair enough. I understand. It's not big as a kit. I mean, it's fairly big for the scale, which is 1:144, but it's dense. It's really dense. There are a lot of parts. I spent most of the day building 2 legs. It's taken me that long to like all the pieces and everything. The articulation on it is really intricate. The problem with some of the real grades is they had what's called an inner frame, which you then use to kind of build out. And the problem with those were, over time, they became really loose, just because of how the plastics work and how they rub off each other. And the future ones kind of like get rid of that idea and just kind of make you build a frame and then put the stuff on top of it rather than it being a pre-built frame. Yeah. So I also really like the Sazabi. I think the design of it's really neat. It's piloted by Shah from Shah's Counterattack, the movie. And so I haven't finished it, but I'm really enjoying it so far. And as you know, Mikey, Gundam kits are usually ridiculously cheap, so it hasn't been expensive to get these things. So that's a plus. The last one I got was one that you might know from Gundam Wing, the Sandrock. Do you remember Sandrock?
Oh, I remember Sandrock.
Yeah.
Sides.
That's right. I got Sandrock. He's a fairly new high-grade kit. I haven't built him yet, obviously, but he's been talked about by a lot of people and say that he's a very top-tier, solid Gundam model kit. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll get that. Yeah, I don't really care for the guy that piloted him. That he was a bit bland, but I always thought his Gundam was sweet. So yeah, and that's been my week, I think. Can't think of anything else. I haven't put up the podcast yet, the free version of Jobby Interview. I will do that. Just haven't got around to just yet. Yeah. We still need to do a comic show.
Yes, that will be this week.
Yeah, we'll be recording on Thursday, I think you said.
Yes, that is the goal.
Yes, so that'll go up on Patreon with the Atomic Robo stuff. And then it'll obviously go up free. I think that's it. Yeah, I can't think of anything else super duper fun. Oh, I went to see my buddy Matt. And we recorded the Halloween podcast, and that's what else I did. I did the Halloween podcast where we talked about Ghost Adventures, which is quite fun because he's a big Ghost Adventures fan, and I'm kind of I enjoy it, but not for the same reasons he does. He's more into the belief, and I'm more into this is a silly show, and it makes me laugh. So kind of 2 different ideas behind it.
Yeah.
So, if you're on Patreon, you can go listen to that. We're past the spooky time of year, but, maybe it'd still be fun. I had a good time recording it at least, so that's the main thing. Mikey. Also, yes, we might as well do this as well. Or might as well mention this. Oh, Hotmail, why you gotta be closed? Triclops sent me a message, and that reminded me that I can now respond to him. Why I didn't send Jobby any kind of messages about what the podcast was about was because I would feel gross doing it. Is kind of how I went. Is my thought process. I because he was coming onto the show, I didn't want to send him like clips of the show because it would almost, from my point of view, feel like I'd be rubbing my nipples, going, "Ooh, we're so good. You should check out our stuff." I'd feel embarrassed and gross doing that. Effectively, maybe it would have been a good idea, but I thought it made for an interesting thing for when he asked me questions, which is quite nice because that doesn't happen a lot in
made it fairly natural.
These, yeah, I thought so. Obviously you heard the podcast as well, did you, Mikey?
Yep.
Yeah, because I sent you a message about it and said, "Did you like it?" And you just went, "It was fine." Okay, cool. I'm assuming
will never
that's
know.
fine.
You must never be praised.
I was like, I hope that means it was okay. I'm gonna assume it was. So yeah, no, I enjoyed doing it. So I hope when it goes up for everybody, everybody can enjoy it as well. But that's where we're gonna end it because Mikey's throat hurts. Mine does too. And yeah, it's been a fun times. Mikey, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter as Irish Paleo. You can also contact us via numerous means. We've got the email, it's themoonbase2@gmail.com, Facebook, Twitter, Libsyn, iTunes probably, CC Bunker, other places if you can think of any. And we love getting feedback, so keep sending us stuff. And Andy, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter, CCTFW, on YouTube as Corporate Commander TFW. You can find this podcast on Moonbase 2 forums on Twitter, iTunes, Facebook, Libsyn, YouTube as Moonbase 2 Transformers Podcast, on Patreon as patreon.com/Moonbase2. As I mentioned, $2 each month gets you the extended version of From the Files of Teletron 2, and it's a week early. Interviews and stuff are a week early as well. Yes, that's right. I was just like, is that right? And you also get the Moonbase Woo-Woo, where we talk about non-transformery things and subjects in more depth. And then, like Mikey said, over on the ccbunker.weebly.com as well for all the other kind of stuff, or just another place to find the show. So yeah, cool. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mikey, for joining me on the show this week for some Transformer talking time.
It was lovely to be here, Andy.
Yay! And we will see you next week, everybody. We should hopefully... you should hear from us slightly before that if you're on Patreon, as I hope to get the comic show up on Friday, hopefully.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. So until next week, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.